She has grown with Centro, creating and developing her catering business with the help of students and workshops. She also has taught at Centro and is the main provider of food services, as well as for the student film settings. When needed, Lupita hires people from the community to help her. Can you pass the slides, please? Okay, so this is Lupita. And we have also Sergio. Sergio is a professional musician. He's our neighbor and has a full scholarship in the Contemporary Art graduate program of Centro and Sotheby's. Last fall, he proposed a workshop on music appreciation for the community, which we co-designed and opened to our community. Sergio has also collaborated in other workshops as a student and with playlist contributions for another of our initiatives that Abel will talk about later. And then we have Vicencio, Vic. Vic is our gardener and has a master in vegetable protection. He's been around since 2015 and has been key in developing and advising student projects that explore themes of gardens, nature, composting, and even nesting. Vic is also a neighbor.
Pauline, I'm sorry, I don't know if you have your YouTube page open.
That explore themes of gardens,
because we continue to, I think you should close.
I'm sorry. If I have just a second, I'm sorry. Now, is that better?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, it was your YouTube page, yeah. Okay, so this is Vicencio Vic. So I was telling you that he's our gardener and has a master in vegetable protection. He's been around since 2015, and he's been key in developing and advising student projects that explore themes of gardens, nature, composting, and even nesting. Vic is also a neighbor, a teacher, and a student of many of our workshops. And well, good part of our work is also based in mapping, has been based in having research and mapping of the community asset services and products that we have. So the students for many, well, years, directories and maps to guide this kind of consumption and projects for newcomers, especially. So this is one of the community maps, and we have many of them. So for example, in the textile workshop, we have one that is only focused on the services and products that can be useful for these students. And it was a project developed by students with neighbors. And then this is a wall map, so students can find whoever can help them in their textile and fashion projects around the community, and they can have all the information like WhatsApp, phone number, how many meters away you find this person, etc. And then we also have transversal projects. A lot of what we do is very important to have collaboration with other areas of Centro. As I said, we are a cross-cutting area of Centro. So all of our projects seek collaborations with other areas. So these are some pictures of Indigo. It's a project that recovers used denim clothing for the design of new objects. Students of all undergraduate projects collaborated and included a group of neighbors who have been taking part in the workshops and the production of pieces. You can see, well, the picture is two of our neighbors with the director of fashion design. And the work of this collective was recently featured in Sonamaco Art Fair in Mexico City and Wanted Design in New York. Also, as part of our transversal projects, we have Tenqua, which is more like an action research project. And Tenqua means broken in Nahuatl. And well, the full name of this, the complete name of this project is Tenqua Designing Futures for Broken Cities, and it has evolved to broken organizations or to broken contexts. So Tenqua is a methodology developed by the Hub and the future design programs of Centro. It's based on sustainable participatory futures, and it allows the detection of cracks or fissures, like something that is broken, which are latent or manifest challenges in our context. to transform them into opportunities and tactics. Its objective is to visualize alternative long-term scenarios that, through the agency of its participants, can trigger the creation of different futures for their communities. So Think Why is a workshop, and it's a research in progress. The project began in 2016, and we've had many iterations. And an update and latest findings will be presented at the 8th International Forum of Design as Process next week. Also, in more recent projects, we had this collaboration with the park, the Chapultepec Park, which I mentioned, that was right in front of us across the street. And so we were invited to submit a proposal for the reactivation of an abandoned train station. So just a sec. There. And the train station is only 900 meters away from our campus. And it's part of the memory of many or most of the people that grew up in Mexico City. And the train just stopped operating in 2006. So we were invited to make a proposal with other 6 architecture firms. And we created a collaborative program with 4 academic programs, organizing a team with 19 students, professors, and directors who work with the input and feedback of 120 neighbors. Their ideas and memories became the center of our proposal. The experiences, senses, tastes, tales, and opinions of our neighbors. So we have a short video that we want to share with you.
Let me turn on the audio button.
So this was a very important project for us. Just in case you were wondering, we didn't win, but we were close to it, and we will be now invited to make a proposal for the redesign of the flower market, which is right across the street. But it was really a great project of collaboration, and we had the possibility of like bringing together more people from Centro and neighbors, and that what it was about for us, and starting and continuing some other conversations. And so I'll pass the word to Abel now, who will talk about other projects.
Thank you, Paulina. Hi, everyone. A good part of our work is focused on well-being. This image are of our tournament, football tournament. This project was co-designed in a social innovation workshop in 2016 in collaboration with Scott Brown from Parsons DESIS Lab. A group of master students and neighbors explored their mutual interests and proposed ideas for building trust and stronger relationships. The result was the speculative design of a street tournament where neighbors of American neighborhood played against Centro students. Through dialogue and collaboration with original and new stakeholders, the project became a reality in 2018 when we decide to launch an open tournament in a nearby public soccer field. Its fourth edition is currently ongoing at Chapultepec Park. To date, we have played more than 100 matches with the participation of over 200 neighbors, students, teachers, and staff. Next, we have a video.
Pertenecemos a la parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, que está ubicado en la Colonia América. Pues todos somos de ahí, la mayoría jóvenes, el más grande de 33, hasta junto con el padre que también juega.
El equipo ya tiene aproximadamente unos 6 años, 6, 7 años.
Pues mi experiencia en el torneo ha sido muy padre, muy emocionante y pues queremos ganar.
Son de diferentes colonias, pero la mayoría somos de aquí de la colonia de Melgarza, de Observatorio, de Tacubaya.
Hay buenos rivales, sinceramente, como la URSS y como el Manchester City.
O sea, a mí me llamó mucho la atención porque durante mis 21 años nunca habían hecho un torneo donde participaran instituciones de la colonia. Y eso nos hace conocernos unos a los otros, porque al final del día vivimos de distinta manera.
Este torneo ha logrado involucrar a las colonias cercanas a Centro, lo cual genera comunidad y nos conocemos entre nosotros.
Todos han sido muy amables, muy atentos y es algo que no se hace en otros torneos. Por ejemplo, esta interacción pues casi ninguna liga la tiene.
Okay. Among our many projects, Cultiva has been key in working with our community. Cultiva is a garden project created in 2016 as part of an undergraduate thesis. Since then, it has had the collaboration of students, neighbors, and teachers, resulting in the co-design of a variety of workshops on pot design, compost bins, healing herbs, fruits, trees, and many, many others. Several students have collaborated throughout the years in its naming, logo, accessories, design, etc. As part of this project, we also collaborate in the design and development of vegetable gardens at neighboring schools. 2 of our students working with Cultiva have been honored, one in Cumulus Green, the prize, and another one more recently with the Green Concept Award in 2000 and in this year, 2022. You can see this information in our LinkedIn or in our social media. Okay, and these images are of many or some of our workshops. The dozen of workshops and activities developed each year with our students include gardens, DIY furniture, neighborhood film production, photography, jewelry, textile intervention, botanical illustration, kite design, yoga, digital literacy, Instagram for business, music appreciation, branding for local business, design and book binding, back design or floral design, among many others. We also have a group of neighbors trained in pattern making and tailoring. They have reached more than 400 hours of training each and are frequently invited to work in a students' project for their fashion collection. And finally, my part is during COVID, during the temporary closure of the campus by COVID, we went online and generate new activities such as Rocola Centro, and that is a playlist generated by community members. Students sought to develop digital skills in neighbors through workshops, and we continued with other activities such as the vegetable garden and Cultiva in Zoom. We also developed a guide to encourage consumption from the local market and offered workshops for selling online. With a group of students, we collaborated with Hospital ABC, and that is our neighbor institution, on the design and communication for their digital health program for COVID, as well as training and outreach. Surprisingly, despite the closure of our campus, the number of activities and participating neighbors grew during COVID.
Thank you. So what well, as they say, what cannot be measured cannot be improved. So since 2015, we've been measuring what we can, and this is our impact with people and participation. And we have been keeping track of activities and who is coming to the campus. And last year, we were able to reach 769 persons among teachers, students, alumni, neighbors, staff, and social service. And just a short note about social service. This is in Mexico, we have every undergrad student has to complete 480 hours of social service in order to graduate or in order to complete his or her studies. So the Social Design Hub, we also have this option for students that want to collaborate with us as part of their social service. So that's why 1.8 of our participants is social service. We usually have around 8 to 12 students collaborating with us. And of course, the ideal plan is that they can finish their service in 1 year. So this is a graphic that shows also, this is participation since 2015. And in 2021, we had 209 neighbors who came to one or more activities during 2021 or were involved in some. And what's interesting about this is that the blue line represents the male neighbors, and the red one is the female. And every time that we introduce soccer, the male participation increases. And also just note our tournament is an open tournament, so it's an open league, so anyone can collaborate, but most of them we are always males. And of course, in 2019, we didn't have the tournament, so that's why the participation of men dropped. And then in 2018 we did, so that's why it changes like that. And then this is also reflected in the average age drop that you can see here. So younger people are the ones that play football, but we do really have also older people. So you can see that the average age is around 40 now, but it has decreased since introduction of the soccer games or the soccer tournaments. And since 2015 till 2021, we had a total of 898 neighbors that had participated with us. And out of these, like every semester, we have between 100 and 120. Sometimes it's been 80 to 100. So that's kind of the participation that we have. But about 25 or to 30% of our neighbors are constantly participating, and they've been around for at least 2 to 3 years. Some of them have been around for 5 or 6 years, but that's how the participation works. And then in social media, We have, well, I think Andrea has been spamming you with our social media profiles, but we have also an organic social media incremento. I'm sorry, but it's been growing our participation and our followers in social media, especially since the COVID crisis. We really needed to develop this more. And then we have also our annual reports, which you can take a look at them in our webpage. They are for download. And every year, every January, we have completed our past year's annual report. So also, if you want more information, you can see like everything we did there, and all the numbers are there. And then we've had some more recent publications. This is our book Unfolding Education and Design for Social Innovation, which was published in 2019. It features 12 conversations with experts around the world, and it includes a few with some colleagues from other DESIS labs like Carla Chipola or Jose Alard. And we also have 6 case studies of social innovation projects in Mexico. And the other one is like a book like published recently. And it's a workshop that we did with Jose Alard from the Laboratorio de Innovación Pública de Chile. And this workshop was about redesigning social relationships in the new normal. This was a workshop that we ran in 2020. And you can also take a look at it. And as our colleagues from the Chile lab were saying in the last DESIS Café, we've been collaborating for a while with Jose and now with Mariana, also with students, and this has been something very exciting for us. And of course, it has opened for us the possibility of doing something else that we don't work with and connecting our students with them so that they can work a project together. So what are we working on now? So in addition to our many regular workshops, we are doing summer sprints for students where they are going to design a DIY skateboard project for a fab lab that is also located in the community, and it's very underused because the people that it's operating this fab lab doesn't really know what to do with it, and it's a local government fab lab that is a disaster. So we want to create these skateboards for because we have a really important skate park right in front of us. So Chapultepec Park has also the skate park, and this is right across the street. So we want to offer these workshops in the community fab lab. And we have also an immersive learning program that has to do with ecosystems and nature in the park. This we are doing in collaboration with other areas of Centro that have to do with technology. And then on the academic side, we are designing a guide and rubric for evaluation. So this rubric considers 4 dimensions: it's social justice, environmental impact, universal access, and working with stakeholders so far. So the idea is to use this rubric with our teachers and our students so that we can go farther in the raising awareness on how important this is. And we've been struggling a lot with teachers that don't have this training or don't have these views. So we thought that a guide and a rubric will change a lot of this in Centro once we start implementing it. So we think that we can have our first pilot project by fall, and then we can tell you how that went. And we just opened a new postgraduate in design for social innovation that seeks to strengthen the conversation, research, and action, especially in Mexico and Latin America, where we feel that we lack of these spaces, and everyone that wants to study something like this always needs to go to Europe or the US. So this is what we're doing now. And I think that's all for our part, and thank you very much. And well, this is our team. Andrea is also connected and it's collaborating, and she's been spanning you, but she's with, I don't know if she's with a flu or COVID or something similar. So that's it. Thank you very much. So we love to hear from you and well, anything, your thoughts, your feedback. So please. Don't be shy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Sebastian.
Thanks for, I want to start by saying thank you to open these spaces to all the public. So I found out on Twitter about this cafe. Right now I'm a PhD student at the University of Cincinnati. And this is, I think, really important to have these conversations. It's really amazing how we can all share findings and tools that we do. So my comment is also about the project Tenqua, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. And well, I was looking at the website, and it's an open source type of tool. So we have a tutorial, and it has the shareable file. And I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate how all of this can be collaborative, not just in your community, but also in the design community. Of course, we have to acknowledge that not everything's translatable, not everything works in the same places, but it's a great present. These are great examples, and I'm really happy that I joined.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. I'm very glad to hear that Twitter got us somewhere. So yeah, just a short note about Tenqua. If you share with us your email, I can share with you like the latest version of Tenqua, which hasn't been updated in our website. And I'll be very happy to talk about it anytime.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Anna from Lapland, she wrote something on the chat. I don't know if you want to open your mic, Anna.
Yes. Yes, this is Amna. Actually, it was just almost evening time here, so I was a little tired. So sorry, I'm not opening up my camera, but yeah, I have. I wanted to say hi to everyone and thank you for this initiative. And also, I've joined here on behalf of the University of Lapland from Finland, and our university is already a part of this. Universities like also like have this Arctic Design Lab, which was already founded in 2015, but it's been a while since more projects have been done. I think the last project was done in 2018. Maybe I can share the link over here also. And then you can see that we have done 2 projects already in 2014. It was the party project, and then another one, which was the Margin to Margin, talked about the women spaces and how the women living on the edges of the world are collaborating together to fill out that marginal geographical margins. So there were like these initiatives that we have already taken, and now we are seeking to upgrade our design lab. And one of the main goal is to support the students in the design department by offering them the holistic hands-on approach to different kind of service design ideas, and by collaborating and co-creation and giving them the knowledge of user experience driven innovation projects and activities. So Yeah, it's good to be here and to hear and see the different kind of very interesting and inspiring projects. And we are hoping to upgrade our Arctic lab in the northernmost part of the Finland. Yeah, so thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting about the Arctic Design Lab. Too bad that I just found out about it.
Oh, okay. I can share the link over here in the chat box.
Yes,
so
please.
you can see who we are and what we do and what we intend to do further.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We were in Rovaniemi, like, I don't know, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, that's the last project that, margin to margin. Yeah. This is the link.
Cool. Thank you.
And you can, yeah.
As you do, you want to say something? You are muted. As you are muted, you have to unmute your mic if you want to say something.
Yes.
I'm not sure who you're talking to, but thank you so much for having me here. And I have shared the link here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
All right, great. All right, thank you.
Okay, well, I was waiting for somebody else, but maybe I can also help to generate some conversation. So, first of all, I'm very happy to see you, Pauline, after so long time. And this is really the magic of this Zoom, that at least we can see, even though it's only a very small little box, but it's much better than nothing. And also this event, the DESIS Café, this one and the other one are very, for me at least, are very interesting. I always say that when we started DESIS more than 1 decade ago, we knew each other very well and we knew more or less everything was going on. And now it's not anymore like this, but this is a good news because it means that there are so many DESIS Lab and things are moved on. And so it's very interesting to see how things are going. But beyond that, I want to really to intervene in your presentation. When you see something shortly presented and only few images, maybe there is something that you can lose. But there is in some way a very simple idea that emerge for each one. So a kind of a profile of everything, even though we do not have the possibility to really know everything. So what is the image that came in my mind looking to your projects, the project that you presented at least, is that if we could have a kind of map of the many different way of developing the idea of design for social innovation or social design, or a mixture about the two, your one are very much in the area of what we also call design activism. So I could tell you there are somebody, included myself, for instance, that now I'm working very much in how design can work to give a kind of more institutionalized profile to the social innovation. So how to work with the cities, how the cities can generate conditions. And therefore, this is, we always say this is not that the molecular bottom-up activities are not important. We only say that at a certain point, after 10 years that we are working, there is also to work with the institution to try to create some environment that make more possible and probable this kind of activities. But I'm not now saying that this is correct and the other is wrong. I only say that the spectrum of possibility today is very large in relation to the past. And this is good. And it's good to see how the different schools could have a kind of focus on a certain kind of activity. But I can, in my impression, and maybe you can also contradict, your one is in between the many that we have seen until now, the one is more clearly a kind of activism of the student working with the neighborhoods. And I like it a lot when you said these three words that are to be very important, to be the time, trust, continuity, forwards, and long-term relationships. So this is really a way for the school to exist in the neighborhoods. And your neighborhood, for sure, for what you said, is large, articulate with a lot of different issue, problems, and maybe also opportunities. So you can spend years in working with them and not being the small group of designers that arrive somewhere parachuted and afterward do a small project and afterward they fly away, but to be really, maybe the student change, but the university and the teacher and the staff remain. So for me, it's a very serious way to imagine how a school could exist in the neighborhoods. And therefore, you have all my enthusiastic support in the way in which you are doing. But I was only given that, and this is very sincere, I was asking myself, and I'm asking to you, if the way in which you work as a kind of change in time. So because some of the projects that you presented now are different from the one that I saw, for instance, I don't remember now when we met last time, maybe 5-6 years ago. And they are all interesting, but in some way the nature is very similar. So I was thinking if after so many years that very seriously your school is working in your neighborhoods, all the projects have this kind of character. So a group of students that work with a kind of group of neighborhoods doing something that could be an improvement, for instance, in the economy of the local place, or if you have also some other kind of relationships that are on different topics, that are maybe more general, more kind of framework, or more kind of I don't know what. So something that is different from what we see now, or if this is in something possible, it could be in the future, or you have decided to work in this way that is very good, but it's a very specific way. It was clear enough, my question? I was too much confused.
No, yes, I think so. Thank you very much, Ezio. And it's always very interesting to hear you. And okay, I'll try to answer. On the first thing that you said about it being like more activism, I hadn't thought about it in that way. But I can see what you say. But I think that, and I'll try to answer also your question with this. So what we do is we've been like creating like all this relationship with many actors that are not only our neighbors. So I think that in order to be also trusted, not only by our neighbors, but by authorities and by different stakeholders that are very important and that move in different levels, that it's not only bottom up. We needed to create something that proved that change in small scale and in everyday life could happen, and that an institution can actually live and thrive in a context like this. So this was very important for us because, for example, we have, there are at least 2 more private, very important schools in the area that they've been here for 30 years. And they have a completely different approach to community, and it's very reactive. And I would say they are more a problem to the community than anything else, because they are like a pole for robbery, like they bring all these security guards with the students or drivers and traffic and big vans and cars and everything. And of course we have an insecurity problem, but they don't see that they are part of the problem, or they are the problem. And they don't support local economies. They have a Starbucks inside. It's like they haven't been aware that they are part of that community. And I think that was like the most important thing that we wanted to change. And then as we've been working this way and developing projects, every time our projects are becoming, I don't know if the word desirable is a correct word, but like I meet with many people that is asking me to replicate this, but that what they haven't understood, like I mean people from government or people from other agencies, is that you cannot design trust, or you cannot decide who is going to trust where. And I think that's like the most complex part of it. Now, what we've learned that we can do is that we have, we know where we are standing, and we know what we have, and that we've managed to grow this project within the school. So now we can collaborate with other areas that are like more important. And of course, we do projects for that are in collaboration with local governments. The project in the park was with the Ministry of Environment of the city. And I think that we are helping to change that mindset. The Minister of Environment was very, very surprised about our project. And one of the things they said was, we cannot allow to make or to do any more projects that don't consider people. So I think that on the other hand, we're being part of changing that conversation. So what can seem at times like more like anecdotic, or more like something that happens and maybe doesn't have any impact on if you make the zoom out and see like our everyday work, we really do deal with local government, and we are trying to push forward a collaboration that's been, I don't know, we've been trying to do this like for the past 6 years, and it has been very complicated, but we bring the funding down to have some improvements and small parks in the area. And we have the design, and the design was made by the urban planning masters of Centro in collaboration with neighbors. So we do all this also. And I think that the programs also trust us, because they know that we have a constant program and a constant relationship and approach with our neighbors. And another thing is that our neighbors can come to Centro and can come to the institution, and that's something that other institutions don't do. So that's yeah, it's part of our everyday life, but it's necessary. And they are like our best allies, and we really have an exchange relationship with many people. I don't know if this answers your question.
Oh, yes, you answered to my question, and thank you so much. I think that you also said something that is very important for everybody. So everything that can be done together with other people asks for trust, and trust cannot be directly designed. So you have to create the conditions for trust. And so what I understand, and also probably has to be taken in account, the condition of your city, that is, of course, very special, as every city is very special. So probably this is your conscious way to create trust. And in time, this trust can be also used not only in the very local activity. I mean, your local activity is fundamental. And the fact that you may ask to some students, or the students that participate, to have this kind of activism in my way of seeing things, is in any case important also for the students. And as a matter of fact, you said that some of them also doing their own social service doing this. So this is very near to be also a social service. I only will say, but I'm sure, because I know you, so I'm sure that you know, that a designer that wants to do work for the society and for social change can have also other level of intervention. And if you teach, if you generate, you teach a generation of the designer that hopefully will work with cities or with other institutions, they, in my view, if they have been trained in doing what you do, is very important. It's fundamental, we'll say, more than important. But afterward, the way in which you can apply design capability for the sake of helping some change in the society could also be quite diverse. So this should be clear. But probably, maybe you have not said, but not probably for sure, your school do also something else. So there is also the possibility that the students that participate to your courses, and when you will have the master, learn this very rooted way of working. And afterward, if they are studying strategic design, they can put together the capability of develop strategies with this kind of sensitivity, or what does it mean for the real people. So I think that what they learn is very important, and what they learn could also be very important for the place. Afterward, they should know that the way to work for society could also be something else. I don't know if it's clear what I mean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, yes, we do have other type of collaboration, but for us, it has been key or very important to develop a sense, like a context-based sense, so that they really learn to see what's around, and to see that, like, all the opportunities and all the possibilities and all the needs and all the challenges that they have in their surrounding context, and also that they can solve their problems. I mean, their problems, I mean, their works, their projects, anything in a local context. So you don't have to go to a different place and in order to solve that. Now, I would say that many of our students eventually go and give the next step to something like more. So this is like the first approach, where they have some awareness, they discover that they can do things differently, and then eventually they, if they're interested, they will seek to have like a more profound formation on what I don't know, on social innovation or social design. And that's why they go to the US or Europe, most of them, and that's why we decided to create this program, because we know that we want to collaborate. We wish we had a city lab in Mexico City. We don't anymore, and we're struggling with this, but I think it's just a matter of time. And I would really love that some student of Centro eventually was part of this, you know, like creating a city lab again, where you can connect and where you can work with universities and you can work with city problems. So I think we're on that path. And of course, we don't aspire to be that kind of city lab, but we do have every time more connections and more requirements for getting involved in, I wouldn't say, getting involved with city issues that are not just located here. Now, it is important also for us not like to keep in mind that we are not going to do the political work, and that we are not going to be political in that sense, you know, like comes to work with local party, or to like be used that way, because we know that we have the trust of the people. So that also keeps us far from some projects. So we have to be very strategic with that. A lot of people has tried to use us in that way.
Imagine. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Edgar, do you want to say something?
Hi, Paulina, how are you?
Hola.
Great to hear from you again. Hola. We didn't see you from Bogota in 2019, I believe. Well, it's great to hear all about Centro, how it's been working so far. Maybe I have a question to make to you about this transition to a postgraduate way of working these issues, because Maybe on the bachelor's degree and from this cross-disciplinary approach that you have told us, is quite easy to make small interventions and build this local approach that I saw. I liked so much about your work. But how it's been working so far from these postgraduate students and their projects in the way to also relate to that, or maybe to give another focus of working or another level of working, if you want to say so. So I don't know if you could talk a little bit about that different scale in which you have participants on this on the hub.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Edgar. Well, the thing is that we're about to open the postgrad, so it's going to be open in September. So I cannot tell you what we've done with that yet, but I can tell you the type of collaborations that we've had in past years. For example, I don't know, with the ABC Hospital, we've been doing a lot of work. We were doing a lot of work in the development of an online COVID program for attention for the city. This was a big program, so it was not only for the city, it was like for the whole country. And they were stuck in trying to reach people and trying to deliver this information. This was a free digital assistance program. And this is a very big, important hospital, but people didn't know this existed. And what we did with them was to really try to understand what they meant and how they were communicating it, and what kind of users they had. And of course, the hospital is in our community, so we also work with the neighbors to understand this better. And one of their findings was that they were talking about telemedicina, and people really didn't understand what telemedicina was. So this was one of the outcomes, was that we're talking about digital health, and how are we going to communicate this in a better way so that really people can get this help from the hospital in their houses. So in this master's program, we were working in this class for the whole semester with the hospital and with different stakeholders that were connected to the hospital. Sometimes there were oxygen suppliers because, well, you know, we had, there was a lack of oxygen also in the city. Some other times the meetings were with the people that was designing like the whole platform. And what we really did was to, it was more like a service design to try to understand how the whole system was working and why people didn't understand their message. And we started doing this, as I said, with our neighbors, because they are part of that. It's a private hospital, but they also work with neighbors in a different way. And then we managed to give them like a lot of information and design some outcomes and videos and stuff that could help people contact them. So that was one collaboration, and we have many collaborations with people that is sometimes we collaborate with, I don't know, organizations that are very important. For example, in right now we're talking with one that works in jails. So they want us to help them develop a program for women that are in very big, in the prison system, that are incarcerated. And this is a program that has to do also with the garden project. But the idea is to make them sustainable, because they have a lot of experience with the huertos urbanos, with the green vegetable gardens, and that they aren't really working. So they asked us for some help, and we are going to help them in the co-working with some inmates and the co-design of products. And the idea is to make it sustainable for these women that live there and have like zero resources. So we have these kind of partnerships and collaborations, and some other times we, I don't know, we've collaborated with a lot of organizations, but so far we've just done it in one semester. as a collaboration, you know, like, or someone brings their partner and we start working also with them, and we bring like this perspective, more of a social service design perspective. And we do that a lot in Centro, but that's not like our main area of work. Our main area of work has been building the trust and all this project with the community.
Okay, thanks, Paulina. Actually, from that point of view, I wanted to ask to you about the affective side of this construction. I don't know, because in your presentation, I believe you're very close to all these people.
The affective side, you said?
Sí, el lado afectuoso, ¿no? Afectivo de esta relación.
Sí, yes. We have very tight bonds with many of our neighbors. And actually, Abel, he's in charge with the contact with the community. And Andrea is more in charge of the contact with the students and professors. And I really have close contact with neighbors, but especially the neighbors that were like the first comers. I have a lot of contact, but we have, for example, WhatsApp groups where we are constantly exchanging information. And then some of those WhatsApp groups have evolved to friends groups. And that's amazing. And so that's very, very nice to have some birthday wishes, and to have like if someone gets sick, another one will offer all types of help. And then I don't know, we have neighbors that invite us every year to a Christmas dinner to their house. And then we have other type of connections that we find out later that we didn't even do, but like a neighbor that meets a student, and that student designed a kitchen for our neighbor for free, and then in exchange the neighbor did something else, and we start hearing about those stories, and especially in those Christmas gatherings that are very organic, and they organize them, and that's very nice. So yeah, we have a vínculo afectivo there, of course.
Okay, thanks, Paulina.
No, gracias a ti.
Well, I think we have almost 1 hour and a half of a great cafe. I don't know if someone wants to say something. As you do, you want to add something to the discussion?
Me?
Yeah, if you want to add something before I finish the door of the cafe.
I want only to repeat one thing and add a consideration. I find that this way of working, so now Paulina said that you are working also in something else with the jail, with the big institution, with the city, and with the hospital, but this is the core of your activity. And for me, especially by the point of view, by every point of view, but especially by the point of view of what the student learn, it's important. And for me, it's so important that you are working always, at least this part of work is always done in your neighborhoods, because I have traditionally some skepticism when there is a school that takes the students and brings the students in a totally different place and try to solve some problems. So in my view, this could be also an interesting experience, but it could be also very negative by many other points of view. In your case, I repeat, the issue about being there, building trust, creating this kind of continuity, this is really so important. And okay, I've not said anything more than what I said before, but I want to add, one of the motivation of this cafe, beyond the pleasure of meeting each other and having some interesting discussion and seeing some interesting projects, is to try to see who is doing what. And because it remains that the DESIS, one of the main motivation of DESIS is to create some knowledge and some design-based knowledge. And to create the design-based knowledge, it's necessary to put together who are doing something similar. So, and we call this thematic cluster. And now, in this moment, we don't have thematic clusters that are really working because of many things, the catastrophes that are happening have changed a little bit the normal biological way of working of DESIS. But we are struggling to try to reestablish some lines. And I will not dare to say, to define what is your line or your core, but for sure it's something that is very important. It will be important to see if in the DESIS network, there are somebody that are working in a similar way. So what I will ask, but without want to press you too much, but given that you are so clearly on this point, and so if you could describe it very shortly, and we could use our network, our also website, to ask who is doing something similar. So this, I think, will be a very interesting. It already happened. So we had somebody that was dealing, I don't know, post-catastrophic design, and we found a way to connect with somebody else, and so on and so forth. But your case is very clear, and it's also very solid because you are not one single professor doing one interesting project. This is a school that is working, not all the school, but an interesting lab in the school that is working since many years in this way. So if you could describe it, and you and we together will say we are interested to see who are doing something similar and try to create this cluster, at least to know. I will not say to make big research together, that maybe is complicated, but at least to start to have an updated map of who is doing what. So when I see somebody that is so clearly on some topic, I will say, try to describe it. And let's see, maybe making a step also background in backward where you are. So because you are very inside, but try to imagine everything that can be done by designers when they deal with social. So what is special in the way in which you do? And the word that I mentioned before, for me, are what characterize to be there, to work there, to say that there is a richness in what you do. And so so probably there is a lot to learn, how to engage the students, how to make this kind of friendship happen, how to create, to renew the willing to do it year by year. So I think that to have the possibility of having 2 or 3 places where there are similar efforts could be very interesting and valuable.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
And I think Sergio wants to say something. He has, Sergio, sorry, I didn't saw that you have your hand raised.
Don't worry, Teresa. Thank you. Hi, Paulina. We're having talk a little bit. Well, I just want to say hey to everyone. I'm still not part of the DESIS network, but I'm kind of working on that. I already talked with Paulina about the project that we are doing in Querétaro, Mexico. But I don't know, listen to your presentation. I have a question about what has been the role of the Centro Design Hub in establishing and kind of facilitating this creation of networks, especially because you have been working with a lot of different actors. And in my case, when I work with some students, I kind of let them go in establishing relationships and kind of this feeling that they, by doing this homework, they will develop some soft skills and kind of they will put on the underground to start to collaborate by themselves. So I just want to hear your experience in this kind of giving some support, but maybe I don't know what has been the experience in your case.
Yes, thank you, Sergio. I know we have very little time, but I'll try to answer in short. I think we are some kind of enablers. So of course there are many students that really don't want to work, and they, I mean, it's not about the hub, it's about like they just don't find their perfect match for work, and they're just not motivated. But there are many students that they're just open to work, and they find we help them find something of value. We always ask them how they could contribute in to improve our community. It's not their community, it's not outside, it's not we are going to improve something in the neighborhood. So they are involved. I mean, they are also, they will get a benefit out of it, like as a community. Sometimes the projects are some improvements also inside the school that they propose. And I think that what we've done is, well, so like the first thing I did like 7 or 8 years ago was to go out and meet some neighbors, because nobody knew who I was, and that was kind of complicated. So I decided to go out and have like a social life in the neighborhood and go eat out, talk to people, and try to understand also their perception about us. And that really helped a lot, because I could see that we weren't really welcome. And well, gradually we started building a relationship. And then when students came in, also we invited them to also build a relationship with very few people that we know that are close to us. So it's like, we at the beginning we're always in the middle, but eventually some of them or end up developing their own relationships with neighbors. So we're always there at the beginning, yes, or most of the time. I'm surprised every time that a student comes with some information that we weren't in the middle of it. But yeah, I think we're the enablers, but then it just keeps happening, you know. And there are some thesis dissertations also that have to do with the community, with people from the community. So I think also helps. And as Andrea is saying, she doesn't talk because she can't talk. We try to build free, relaxed spaces without the weight of grades. Yeah, and yeah, she's absolutely right. And sometimes we also try to make them part of the community life of the neighborhood. Like we've taken students to some parties of gang that is a very famous gang, that is the Panchito gang. But for example, for other institutions, that's like the worst thing that can happen. They are like trying to cancel the party, the public street party, and we're like, why have you ever been there? Just why do you want to cancel it? And this is where authorities also come in. And so we try to build social life really with our neighbors and with the community. And as I mentioned before, our activities are open for all. So if you have yoga classes, you have students and neighbors and staff in the same yoga class. And then we have an informal meeting at the end where we sometimes, well, before the COVID, we ordered pizzas, or we decided as a group what we wanted to do to just for the fun of it, just for learning more about each other. So I don't know if that answered your question, Sergio.
Yeah, thank you. And I think what Andrea said about this creating of space, I really like that approach. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I think we have to finish. I want to thank you, Paulina and Abel and Social Design Hub team, for sharing these wonderful projects that you have been developing there. And I also want to invite you to save the date for the next DESIS Café, which will happen after our summer break. And our summer break means for those who are in the north. We will return on the 21st of September, and the DESIS Café will be hosted by Emily Carr, DESIS Lab in Vancouver, Canada. And I hope to see you all there, if not before, in some other events. So thank you very much once again. I finish always this DESIS Café with a lot of inspirational ideas. it's really nice to see what the other DESIS labs are doing. And as you said, Paulina, now you have a homework to describe your what you are doing. So thank you very much to all of you. And it was a great cafe. Thank you.
Ciao. See you.
Thank you very much.